The Decepticons are easily one of the biggest and baddest armies in all of fiction. These evil beings are known for destroying anything that tries to prevent them from achieving their goals of completely dominating the universe. Fortunately, standing in their way are the Autobots, the other side of the Cybertronian coin. There are many powerful and resourceful Autobots in the Transformers franchise, and Optimus Prime is just the tip of the iceberg. These powerful robots range from those with the ability to combine to gigantic city-sized titans. Despite their power, most embody the Autobots' heroic code of ethics, which separates them from the evil forces of the Decepticons. In this video we list 10 of the most powerful Autobots in the franchise. As we always say, this top is merely optional, and if you have a different listing, feel free to leave it in the comments box. Without further ado, let's get started. Prow is a strategist in the Autobot army and began life on Cybertron as part of the Forensic Division. Before the war, Prow had little to no combat experience, and was nearly killed chasing an assassin when he was saved by Orion Pax, the Autobot who would eventually become Optimus Prime. The increasingly violent actions of the Decepticons made him more devoted to the Autobot cause. Prowl's biggest problem with literally every Autobot he met was that he was almost too devoted to the cause and obsessed with the most pragmatic options to finally end the war and restore order to Cybertron. To that end, Prowl had no problem resorting to any tricks necessary, such as making alliances with mad scientists to obtain additional weaponry that his intrepid leader would never have approved of. This abrasive nature has led him to make several enmities with his allies, but he has saved the Autobots on the battlefield on countless occasions. As a member of Optimus Prime's inner circle, Jazz has been fighting the Decepticons since the beginning. Unlike many other characters in this top who only started fighting because the entire planet was falling apart as a result of their civil war and not choosing a side simply wasn't an option, Jazz is actually a great fighter. Not only is he an accomplished marksman, but he also possesses other powers through his speakers. In Transformers Animated, Jazz was also trained in the Cybertronian martial art of Metroplex. In addition to this, it is also quite fast in vehicle mode, and its alternative land mode is usually a variation of a Porsche 935 Turbo. While he may not be the strongest Autobot, he is definitely one of the most well-rounded. On the contrary, unlike Prowl, he is more than willing to have fun and enjoy free time, especially if music is involved. As a member of a long lineage of primes that existed before Optimus received the mantle, Sentinel Prime plays a role in being one of the reasons the Decepticons have such hatred for the name Prime to begin with. At least in the IDW universe, Sentinel was as dirty as its outer casing. As head of security for the Cybertron Senate, he set about creating several sleeper agents who would work in his service. When he wasn't creating his own navy, Sentinel spent much of his time killing people who even slightly opposed the Senate and its laws. In Animated, Sentinel Prime was a rival of Optimus Prime who had special expertise with the spear and shield. Likewise, the Michael Bay films portrayed him as an Autobot traitor who allied himself with Megatron. In several of his incarnations we are given to understand that he is almost as strong and skilled as Optimus Prime himself. Ultra Magnus has many similarities to Optimus Prime, and his origin varies depending on the version. In some cases it is a kind of representation of Optimus' soul. In others he is portrayed as Prime's older brother or his superior in the Autobot chain of command. In any of these versions, Magnus is shown as a being more imposing than Optimus himself. He is a very tall Autobot who has two powerful blasters on his shoulders and usually uses a rifle to fight. He is also a stern and fierce commander who in many ways embodies a less friendly version of Optimus. In Transformers Animated, he wielded a powerful hammer that allowed him to summon lightning, similar to how the Norse god Thor does. Although he may not always be a well-mannered fellow, Ultra Magnus is a skilled warrior and can deal with any threat that comes his way. The power level of Commander Fortress Maximus depends on the universe in which he is located. In several universes, such as the original cartoon and the 2007 Transformers animated cartoon series, Maximus is one of several robots that make up the city. These are Transformers who are literally the size of an entire city, making them one of the most powerful Autobots of all time. However, in the IDW comics, Fortress Maximus is a Cybertronian being with a special spark that is 1 in 1,000. This ranking saw him fight countless battles with the Autobots before eventually becoming the Guardian of Garrus 9. Beyond his own powerful body, Fortress Maximus also has several smaller components and helpers. Among them is Cerebros, which is what his own head transforms into when he changes shape. As one of the few female Transformers, RC has appeared in almost every version of Transformers created. In many cases, she is a sniper who can perfectly hit a target miles away. Likewise, its agile form allows it to attack and escape from any potential enemy. He is also shown to be somewhat versatile with complex computers, as was the case when he helped get Autobot City up and running. Arcee's alt mode has changed over the years, with her usual vehicle mode being a Cybertronian car or a motorcycle. Its greatest weakness is that it is usually much smaller than the enemies it usually fights. Although her abilities seem to be weaker than Fortress's, RC stays with this power because she is a skilled fighter in all areas, unlike the previous position that only stands out for her large size. Grimlock is a terrifying opponent for an Autobot or Decepticon, largely because it's sometimes hard to tell which side he's really on. As the leader of the Dinobots, his ferocity in robot mode is matched only by the terrifying nature of his prehistoric beast mode. Grimlock is a T-Rex that can breathe fire from its mouth, in addition to being extremely ruthless towards its opponents. His robot form is just as heartless in combat as he usually cuts his enemies with his energy sword. Grimlock is easily one of the most powerful Autobots to ever walk the Earth. Of course, his unfriendly nature is a liability to the Autobot cause, especially since the Dinobots don't even respect Optimus Prime's authority. Likewise, Grimlock and his crew are sometimes portrayed as fools, much like the dinosaurs they transform into. Despite this, the powerful Dinobot commander makes up for it with his brute strength and ferocity. Most versions of Optimus Prime started out as Orion Pax in most continuities, but Destiny had a higher calling for him as an Autobot leader. This role made him quite powerful, both in terms of raw strength and the experience the rank has brought him. He is also armed and ready for battle, with his rifle, energy axe, and transforming trailer being his most used weapons in his various incarnations. Despite this, Prime's greatest strength is his character. Optimus is a leader who prefers to be strong enough to be gentle. This sees him even granting mercy to enemies such as the leader of the Decepticons, Megatron. Although some might see this as a weakness, Prime shows that there is power in doing what is right. Omega Supreme is always one of the largest and most powerful Autobots in any continuity. A member of the Omega Sentinel Guardian robots, Omega Supreme is one of the few Cybertronians capable of remembering a time before both civil wars. He played a role in Cybertron's first period of expansion, visiting other worlds and even befriending the Constructicons before they turned villainous. In terms of power, Omega Supreme is a gigantic transformer that was originally presented as being made up of 3 separate units. He is also characterized by being coldly robotic, and considers only the mission itself important. This helps him accomplish things no other Autobot can, but it somewhat costs him his morality, making him even more dangerous. Metroplex is by far the most powerful and impressive weapon in the Autobot army's arsenal. Metroplex is a city builder, meaning its alt mode is actually an entire city. While there are no less than 13 other so-called Titans of the colonies, it is understood that Metroplex is supposed to be one of the first. So it makes sense that the heroic Transformers' rival would be the giant Decepticon monster, Trypticon. Metroplex is so large and powerful that it requires a transformation gear to even turn into robot mode. The Combiner Transformers are dwarfed by their size, and their cannon blasts level mountains with ease. To this day, there is no Autobot that can compare to Metroplex's power, which is why his alt mode is a major component of Autobot City. For now, that's all for this video. If you are wondering where the statistics that we showed you throughout this top came from, they were made by the CBR site, which also made a top of the 20 most powerful Autobots and which was of great help in making this video. If you want to see the original top, I leave you the link to the site in the description of this video.